been on the ground in Western North Carolina covering the aftermath of Helene, and we continue to share the stories of those impacted. One of those stories comes from Asheville resident Deborah Stuart, who we've spoken with several times over the past 6 months, and she joins us now. Deborah, it's great to have you back with us here on Fox Weather. I can't believe it's actually been 3 months since we last spoke. How are you and the family doing, and what have you seen in the community since we've last spoke?
Well, it's great to see you again, too, and it's so hard to believe it's been 3 months since our last chat. There's been a lot of progress in this area, especially since the storm hit 6 months ago. We had President Trump come and visit back in January, and, not to get into politics, but I really noticed a difference in the speed with which we were starting to see crews coming in to remove debris, roads getting rebuilt, bridges being put back up. Things really, I feel like, have started progressing into more of a hopeful place in this area. And, I decided, it'd be great to do this talk outside, because just to show that this area is still in the process of rebuilding even 6 months later. I'm currently actually standing in Biltmore Village. I'm sorry, not Biltmore Village, Beacon Village. Sorry about that. Beacon Village, which is a historic neighborhood here in Swannanoa. Back in the 1920s, these mill homes were built for employees of Beacon Manufacturing, which was actually one of the world's largest blanket manufacturing. So we've got like over 100 homes in this neighborhood, and 29 of them had water up to the gutters. And so I actually just ran into the president of SaveBeaconVillage.org. She was actually here meeting with some other organizers. They're trying to raise $4 million to basically rebuild this neighborhood. And apparently over a dozen homes have been adopted by churches and nonprofit organizations to rebuild these homes. But literally, we had people in these homes that were swimming to higher ground. This is Lower Beacon Village, where people's homes were just, they're still standing, but they were underwater, literally. So you still have sites like this all around the area, especially here in Swannanoa. And as you know, there's so many, as you're seeing the pictures there's so many small towns in this area that are not receiving as much coverage, that still need a lot of help, a lot of people to come in and help those that are literally homeless still, living in temporary housing.
You had said for folks there in the community, you're starting to see the pace of the recovery accelerating. And that's so important to the overall mindset of everybody. I'm thinking about, this is less than half a year, 6 months now. You've had all-time flooding, just stunning scenes that you couldn't really believe unless you saw it. And then you dry out, you get into drought, and you have the wildfire conditions. What's that been like for the community? I know not everybody has been impacted, but just the fact that those fires are around, it must kind of open old wounds of an entirely different nature.
You are so right. You hit the nail on the head. I think mental health is a huge component of this. People are a bit triggered. They're already traumatized by a hurricane of, monumental extremes here that has already hit this area. And now we have wildfires literally within, I believe it's like 30 miles of Asheville. I know on the west side of town in Leicester, there are wildfires that are actively burning. I have a friend who, her and her husband have a church here in Swannanoa, and they were putting out kind of these SOS Facebook posts like, please pray for our area. We are now under the threat of wildfires. It's unimaginable, to be honest, to think about how much this area has already suffered. And now with a threat of wildfires, it's kind of, it's mind-blowing, you could definitely say. So I guess, we're hoping and praying for rain, obviously. And I know there's a lot of wildfires around the country in general, but this area did not, foresee this. I think also with still the debris on the ground, and then you got those fallen trees, it just makes the perfect atmosphere, right?
It is.
For a wildfire to wreak havoc, It
is the perfect recipe, but as you said, it's day by day, and it's really great to hear the sense of optimism that's returned as that region starts to get back to what it was. Asheville resident Deborah Stuart, thank you again for taking the time. Great to check back in with you, and I hope the trajectory that you explained to us continues as we move forward through what's left of the year and beyond. Thanks.